Before we start, this episode of Gayish features graphic discussion and even jokes about pedophilia and sexual abuse of children. If that is something you'd prefer not to hear, or if there's any possibility that will be a trigger for you in any way, we suggest you please skip this episode. And now, enjoy Gayish.
Tell me it gets better. Say that it gets better. O.P.S. I'm gay-ish.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that's as hard-hitting as Chris Brown.
That's inappropriate.
I mean, if there's any episode to do it on, it's when we talk about pedophiles.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality.
And I guess I spilled the beans before it...
Shut up. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
We're going to talk about pedophiles.
That's very true.
But first... Or did you want to say more about that?
Oh, I'm like very interested in this topic. Because it's like... It's very easy to just be like, they suck. Da, da, da. But I think there's more nuance than people give it credit for. So I actually have like a lot of interesting things I'm excited to talk to you about.
Okay.
But first. So Brigham Young University. BYU. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're Mormon.
Soups Morms.
And there is a transgender student. They prefer their pronouns.
Okay.
But they are facing expulsion because they decided to go ahead with breast augmentation surgery. They're getting top surgery. So they were assigned male at birth, are trans, but because of the their pronouns, I'm not sure if they're transitioning to female or some other non-binary gender.
Got it.
They are getting breasts, and BYU says that in order to go there, you have to have the endorsement of a Mormon bishop. And their Mormon bishop is threatening to withdraw his endorsement, thereby leading them to be expelled.
I'm surprised. This is all coming up because of the breast augmentation, not the I'm transgender and go by they, them, their pronouns?
Correct. This person's name is Chris Irvin. And Irvin didn't even, they weren't aware of the existence of the transgender community until 2015. So this is all pretty new and fresh for them, and they were already at BYU when that happened. And they said that they haven't experienced any negativity from students at the university. The reason that they got in trouble is because the bishop found out about their intention to have top surgery after they set up a GoFundMe to help raise funds for their surgery.
Which is like, is our priest just out there searching like each of their like members' names plus top surgery, or like, you know, anyway.
Yep.
Maybe they're probably bored.
Yep. Well, so they sent a letter to the bishop, and in that letter, Irvin asked, quote, "At what point do my breasts determine my level of membership in the church?" And responding to the letter, Irvin's bishop said he knows, quote, "No surgery can bring you true peace and comfort in this life," which is just medically incorrect. Like gender confirmation surgeries, allowing trans people to be trans and transition verifiably makes their lives better.
Yeah,
this is not a question of faith or doctrine or God or Jesus or any of your other fucking bullshit. Your bullshit is bullshit.
Like, people experience gender dysphoria and transitioning helps.
Yes.
Also, transgender aside, or gender confirmation surgery aside, some surgeries also help. Like, hey, if you get into a car accident and are disfigured, surgery will make your life better. Mm-hmm. And he just said no surgery. Like, I think it's really funny when people are like, oh, being gay isn't like what nature intended. They say wearing their contacts and like walking around on their manufactured shoes, eating the meat that a farm has, like,
enjoying a plastic bottle of water.
Yeah. Like, do you want to run out in nature? And like, what do you think by how nature intended us to live? At what point are you going to place yourself where you feel good about, like, okay, nature wanted us to build houses and fix our eyes and teeth, but gay is too far for nature? Like that, when you actually break down that argument, it's not actually illogical and it doesn't really mean anything. But okay, so yeah, that's a good question. Like, what if Chris just gained a lot of weight and got bigger boobs? Like, what's the law? Like, what's the rule about the size of boob that would be inappropriate?
Yep. Yep. Is there a chart that they have that's like your boob to Mormon ratio, and you can't go past a certain threshold?
Have they kicked out anyone that got breast augmentation, like cis females that got breast augmentation? Did they kick them out?
Yeah. Or do they kick out dudes for having man boobs? Because I would be screwed.
I would be like on the brink. I would be on the brink of getting kicked out. I'd have to blow at least one priest to stay in.
Which I hear works.
Well, I have too much body hair. I'd have to shave it all off.
I mean, these are the sacrifices that you have to make for an education, Kyle. Moving on. Do you remember the band Say Anything?
No.
They've been around for a while. The lead singer is Max Bemis. And
do they have any like hits that I would recognize?
They've been around since 2000, and I looked through their quote-unquote hits. I know that
the fact that you had to say quote-unquote answers my question, I think.
Well, I've definitely heard of the band, or maybe I just had heard of the movie. You remember the movie Say Anything?
Nope.
No, John Cusack, I think? No? Oh, okay. Anyway.
Was it just him being like, potato, hippopotamus, down? Not that movie?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Note to self, we should make that movie.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Okay. No, the band Say Anything, they've been around since 2000, and they have had a number of hits in the top 40 over the last 20 years or whatever.
Good work.
But then in a tweet, Max Bemis, their lead singer, both said, Say Anything is saying goodbye, they're breaking up, and I'm queer. So actually, the word that jumped out that is the reason that I brought it on Gayish is because he said, quote, I have always been bi-ish or queer or a straight guy who can also like boys. I always talked or joked about it with my friends and found it to be blatantly clear I was. He was called a fag and bullied for it. He would tell people repeatedly he liked men, but they chalked it up to my bipolar shit, which he described as hurtful because he has bipolar disorder and is also very open about that and is an advocate for mental health. And he thinks that people minimize his identity because he found true love early on in life with a woman. He's married to fellow musician Sherry Dupree Bemis, and they have 3 children. Quote, I've always been somewhat of a monogamist, and my queer experiences were limited and remain mostly emotional ones, he continues. I don't feel threatened or scared because I grew up with some amount of privilege in that regard, coming from a supportive liberal family, so I'm not minimizing how hard that can be for other people. I get that I have it easy. He writes about his spirituality and a, quote, year-long Heath Ledger-esque descent into pain and darkness and snorting antidepressants all day.
Is he dead? Did he die?
I think he's going to die.
Oh, no. And then win an Oscar?
Year. Yeah, I guess.
Oscars love dead people.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
First, you could get Oscars for playing a different skin color than yourself. Then you could get Oscars for playing crazy. Then you could get Oscars for playing disabled. Then you could get Oscars for playing gay.
Now you get Oscars for
being dead.
No, well, I think we're on the a next version, which is you only get Oscars for being Meryl Streep.
Because that's how it should be.
I mean, yeah.
'Cause she's amazing.
Yeah.
And last in the news, but certainly not least.
Okay.
Montreal Pride was this weekend.
Ooh. Hey, Canada.
Yeah. Hey, Canada. And at the very front of the parade, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
I saw these pictures.
And Anthony from Queer Eye. Both of them should sit on my face or take turns.
Just a face-sitting train.
just throwing it out there.
Choo-choo, come aboard.
But I loved what Justin Trudeau said. I'm going to do what I think you want to do anyway and just ignore the fact that Anthony was there. He was just in the pictures looking pretty. Justin Trudeau said this really awesome thing.
A celebrity that is prominently attending Pride, awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah. Justin Trudeau said, quote, can we stop talking about tolerance? We need to talk about acceptance. We need to talk about openness. We need to talk about friendship. We need to talk about love, not just tolerance. And he's super right about that. Tolerance used to be the name of the game, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But really what that just means is put up with that awfulness. It doesn't mean accept and love and treat with respect and equality.
Yeah. I also am wondering when it's going to stop being let's decide if gay and queer people are allowed to be a part of it, and when and change the conversation to are homophobes allowed to be in our they're the shitty ones that we need to have debates on. Are they allowed to be a part of our society or not? Because they're the people treating people shittily.
Right. Well, that's an excellent segue. Anthony actually did say something pretty great. He said that he hadn't been to Pride before, or at least not many times before. He'd been reluctant to get involved in the marches because he believed them to be just about partying. Quote, I kind of stayed away from it, he told Trudeau. Now I'm understanding the definition of the word visibility. I think we really can't undermine the importance of it just by showing up and being myself and who I am and representing myself as part of the LGBTQIA plus community. I take that very seriously.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, you just show up and be you, which is a beautiful nothing. And you do it so good.
Yeah, I like him. Also, my Barry White voice is a little bit more Barry White than normal.
Yeah?
Because apparently Canada is on fire and it is fucking up Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Air
also,
quality is like negative air quality.
But also Washington and Oregon and California are on fire.
You should just breathe out of your car's tailpipe. It would be better than walking around outside here right now.
At what point do we think maybe the Republicans are right and God has now set us on fire? Like, maybe we all should button our top button and go to church on Sundays and not talk about feelings. Like, maybe they were right.
Maybe we should all only fucking airport bathrooms.
Yeah, with the appropriate tapping code.
That's it. That's all the news.
Or maybe the fires are caused by global warming, which we haven't addressed, particularly because of Republicans. But it's one of the two things.
So there's this new thing that's going around Facebook that fucking pisses me off.
What's that?
There are a bunch of Republicans that are saying the reason for these fires is because you won't let us chop down the trees. If there were less trees, they couldn't be on fire. So it's your fault, liberals, for saying we should have parks and trees.
Same idea of these just complainers in the Me Too movement. If they were dead, they couldn't get raped. So
Do you see what she was wearing? How could I not rape her?
Have you considered what was the tree wearing when you set it on fire? Was it asking for it? Do you want to talk about this? This is going to be the least offensive part because now we're talking about pedophiles.
Let's talk about pedophiles.
Oh, wait. No, one more thing. Sorry. We've been teasing pedophiles. But we're going to be in New Orleans next... What?
Nothing. Just the fact that when we got to the pedophiles part reminded you we're going to New Orleans.
Do they hang out there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out.
We're sorry, Pride 48 people.
Sorry, that was not a...
We don't think you're pedophiles.
That was not a connection.
We don't not think you're pedophiles.
We don't know you that
Your
well.
pedophilia is indeterminate.
We are unclear about how much you do or do not appreciate young children.
Right. Sexually.
Sexually. In a physically sexual way. Oh, no. Okay. We're going to be at Pride 48. The next episode you hear from us, we're going to publish the live thing in our normal feed thing. This promotion is going so well so far. You're welcome, Pride 48, possible pedophiles. But probably not. But maybe. Okay, so...
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Okay, so we're going to do a live show. It's going to be a week from this Saturday. It's going to be 2 p.m. Central, noon Pacific. Mm-hmm. And if you're on East Coast, you have to do the math because fuck off. And
it's just 3 p.m. It's not hard.
I wanted to make them do it. You're just handing it to New York. Like,
what about our non-American listeners? How are they supposed to know what the fuck to do?
Oh, I don't know. Just spin around in circles until you're dizzy enough to fall over and not care.
Great. Also known as Saturday.
So do it with alcohol. Mm-hmm. Life is better with alcohol. Mm-hmm. This is going too long. Go to Pride 48 and you can listen to the streaming shows. There are going to be a ton of shows, so you can listen to other ones as well. You don't have to be there to enter the raffle where we're giving away 3 Chuck Tingle books and a Gayish shirt. So one of our items is in the raffle as well.
Go to their website and buy some raffle tickets and win some cool queer shit.
Yeah. There's a chat room too if you want to ask us questions during the show, because we're going to be reading that. And
we should be checking our tweets also.
And tweets. So
twits.
Twit and chat and cheat and chitter.
So twit us, you twats.
And chatter us, you chooches. Weirdest promotion for Pride 48 ever.
So one of the events that they're doing at Pride 48 is a pink carpet. We're going to walk the pink carpet because we're a big deal.
Yeah,
apparently.
we're going to be celebrities because I don't know why.
But we were trying to figure out what to wear on the pink carpet. Like, what's the thing to wear? I just decided I'm going to go as JonBenet Ramsey to test this pedophile thing.
Just see who's into you.
Yep.
I don't. Okay. Are you going to do the thing where you like get on your knees and like walk and like put shoes on your knees and then walk?
I'm going to wear a dress with a really long train to cover my legs that are behind me because I'm on my knees, which is a natural position for me anyway.
Yeah, you're already pretty comfortable. You got calluses built up. Can I be Mama JonBenet?
Sure.
She's dead though, so I might just not show up. Is she dead or did they get divorced? Fuck.
It's the same thing. I've died twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's going to be a pink carpet. We're going to
play Match Game. We're going to be celebrity panelists in a queer podcaster version of Match Game. What are your expectations for this thing?
Well, I'm in a committed monogamous relationship, so I'm going to just, study the Quran.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk down Sober Street because Bourbon Street.
Yep.
Too tempting. I just got it.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna pray.
Okay. I have a pact for you.
Okay.
Because you have your boyfriend Jack, who is your boyfriend. While we're in New Orleans, if you just point at somebody, I have to fuck them.
Right. What?
I mean, we need a code word or something. We need to,
for them to say if they're into it. Perhaps yes or no. Are children fair game? Are we going to test the pedophilia thing with you? Let's talk about pedophiles.
Let's talk about pedophiles. So a long time ago, like before I started dating Trevor, I had a boyfriend. What?
Oh, okay. No. Any story that.
No, I had a boyfriend that thought I was a pedophile, and I said, "Well, that's a really big word for a 10-year-old." That's not my joke, but I wanted to say it.
Whose is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know where I heard it. It's not mine. I didn't write it.
On that note,
I stopped you from drinking your wine. Do you need to take a sip of wine?
I always. # never not drinking.
Great. You're going first, right?
Yes, because
fantastic.
Again, I'm really interested in some of the nuances of pedophilia. It's a weird sentence to say. So it's important to separate pedophilia from sexual abuse of children.
Yeah.
Because pedophilia is a feeling. It's a desire, whether or not you act on it. People that sexually abuse children may be pedophiles, but they may not be. Some people sexually abuse children for other reasons. Most commonly, those are abusing family members. And so actually about half of people that sexually abuse children are not actually pedophiles.
Okay.
So they don't actually, it's not because they have a sexual desire for children. They're doing it for some other reason.
Yep. What are those reasons?
We'll talk about that on the sexual abuse towards children episode. Okay. This is the pedophile episode.
Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, Mike. Okay. So it's really interesting. In the US, there were laws that went into place in the 90s that required therapists to disclose if they thought their patient was posed a threat to a child. So a lot of people now won't open up to a therapist about the feelings of pedophilia because they could just risk getting in trouble purely for saying it. So now they've
is that thing with the therapists, is that any danger to a child, like physical danger, or is that just sexy time?
What did I write down?
Basically, can you tell your therapist that you want to punch a kid, or just is it just
poses a threat to a child? So I'm guessing it's both.
Okay.
Why do you want to punch a kid, but you're worried to tell your therapist?
Sometimes.
I mean, I do too. Sometimes I do. So that legislation trumps doctor-patient confidentiality. So that actually gets in.
I used to really like that word.
What?
Trumps.
Oh, well, yeah, it's hard to play spades now because then you're just sad. So.
It's a good joke. Card joke.
Oh, thanks.
Good. I like that.
Old ladies. I got your jokes right here. Knitting.
In bridge.
It's so hard on your thumbs. Or I don't know old lady jokes. This one time I put on a smock and it was the wrong color flowers. I don't know what old ladies into. That's probably a good thing. Okay, anyway.
Wooden boxes under the ground sometimes.
Surprisingly, most of the offensive things have not been actually about pedophiles. It's been about other things. So this is fun. Okay, so like the downside of that law is it's harder to study. A lot of the studies we have are based on people that commit crimes.
Yeah.
So that's really biased. In fact, Judith Herman, who is a psychologist, said, quote, most studies are based on the 5% who get caught, a very unrepresentative group.
Judith Herman. I just feel like if I was to invent a female pedophile, I would name her Judith.
No,
Herman.
she's not a pedophile. She's a psychologist. I guess we don't know what she did in there that didn't get caught for. Well, actually, she's probably not a pedophile because this is far and away an issue with men. Men commit up to 94% of sexual offenses against children.
Yeah. I mean, if something terrible is happening and it has anything to do with genitals, it's probably a dick and it's a dude.
Yeah.
Using it inappropriately.
Yeah. Or, I mean, any kind of thing that involves some kind of mass trauma or upsetness is also probably dudes.
Yep.
Like everyone that mass shoots people is a dude.
Yep.
1 to 5% of men are pedophiles. And
5%.
That's
1 in 20. Like walk down the street and point at every 20th dude. Pedophile.
Yep. I mean, if you're in New York City, up that to 1 in every 10, probably. I just assume New Yorkers flock. No, other way. I think pedophiles are just New York bound, you know?
Like cities are known for their things. Like if you want to be gay, go to San Francisco. If you want sausage, go to Chicago. If you want to have sex with kids, go to New York.
If you want baby sausage, go to New York.
Great.
30% of pedophiles are left-handed.
Yeah, they are.
Wait, did you already know that?
No.
Oh, why did you say that so excitedly?
Because I'm left-handed.
You are left-handed.
Yep.
Left-handedness is apparently associated with
amazingness.
No. The other mental issues like bipolar or I don't know, these other mental issues. So the fact that pedophiles are more likely to be left-handed or ambidextrous 3 times the normal rate, then that's one thing that leads psychologists or researchers to believe that it is something fucked up about your brain, at birth, not trauma.
I could have told you that.
How many of these jokes are going to be about you pedophiling children?
No, it's a verb. Yeah, I mean, left-handed people are crazy. That's just true. I am one. We are nuts. Our brains are different. So we want to do kids sometimes. Whatever.
I don't know that you should really. I feel like the left-handed faction is a growing, angry faction of people that have been completely forgotten about, and I don't know that we want to piss them off.
It's us and the white nationalists.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna.
Both of them are angry about scissors.
Yeah, we're gonna meet in Oklahoma City and jack each other off with different hands.
Okay, so those are some of the starting points of, we're talking about pedophiles. So the feeling of being sexually attracted to, most of the things I read said under 13 was pedophile. There are other names for people into like babies. Small,
so it's kind of a good segue.
Sure. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so I was going to talk about what pedophilia actually means.
Okay.
Because
I thought I did that, but you might have more.
Well, colloquially, pedophilia just means sex with kids, and most people use it to mean if they are not of the age of consent, then it's pedophilia. Right. So, like in the state of Washington, if they're 15, that would be pedophilia. Like,
is 16 the age of consent?
I think so.
Oh,
at least I hope so.
I have a couple more people I'm gonna hit up now that I didn't. All right.
The point is that's what people think pedophilia means, and that's not strictly speaking true. Like if you want to look at the scientific terms that are used in studies.
Yeah, and boy do we.
Yeah, we do.
When we talk about pedophiles, let's get into the exciting definitions that researchers use.
Yeah.
No, that's actually a lot. Yeah.
So chronophilia is a term that was invented by John Money to describe a form of paraphilia when you have sexual attraction limited to individuals of particular age ranges. So, and that's not just pedophilia. Like, for instance,
you could be in like a 70 to 71-year-olds exclusively.
Yeah. So let's start with those. Teleophilia is sexual preference for adults.
So most of us have
teleophilia.
Yep. Oh my God. You know how everyone does like your epidermis is showing?
Yeah.
I'm going to go online and accuse so many people of being teleophilias.
You're a teleophile.
And they're going to be so upset. And then, but you don't like,
yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
I'm down.
Okay.
Call them a cisgendered teleophile. And then mesophilia is a sexual preference for middle-aged adults.
Huh. I just didn't know that we got that specific with things.
And gerontophilia is a sexual preference for the elderly.
I thought it was going to be giants. Or giraffes.
Or Geraldo Rivera.
Gerontophilia. Or the New York Giants.
Yeah, right? So then there is infantophilia, which is a subtype of pedophilia that describes a sexual preference for children less than 5 years of age.
Oh, man.
Then there's just pedophilia.
I mean, I guess once you start thinking like under 5, then like quote unquote regular pedophilia, it's still all okay.
Sexual preference for prepubescent children, which for most studies means under 13, which you had.
Yeah. And that's what I saw in most things, like most researchers when they mention pedophiles are talking about 13 and under.
Yep. So in the middle there is hebephilia, which is older than 5 but younger than 13.
Oh, so that's a specific type of pedophile?
Yeah, pedophiles have two like subtypes. There's infantophilia and hebephilia, and that is under 5 and over 5, but both groups under 13.
Okay. And the more I'm getting sadder and sadder.
And then ephebophilia is sexual preference for post-pubescent youths, which means 13 to 19, which, because I hooked up with a 20-year-old in Russia, that's feeling a little close to home.
I do like... Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sex with people that are not old enough to understand what they're doing is bad and wrong, and don't do it.
Yeah.
We as a society then have to assign an age to that, because you can't just say like, let's test each individual person to decide when they're old enough to like.
Yeah.
So
it becomes a victim blaming thing too, right? Like, oh, we'll figure out if this is a crime by interviewing the person that just got diddled.
Yes. Yeah. Side note: most researchers don't use the word diddle; they use canoodle doodle doodle. Just a thing I noticed. Yeah, like I think we do have to at least say like, okay, if you're like around 18, 19, like, I mean, I guess even 17, like 16 to 19, like depending on where you live, that can be legal, not legal. So it gets kind of messy. So you just have to like, at some point you just have to pick a number.
Yeah. Well, and some of the stuff that I was reading said that people, boys and girls, that's terrible. Boys and girls that are 15 can often have most of the characteristics of adulthood. They
like physically or
physically.
Oh,
physically. And so it is illegal and should be to have sex with them But it's important that we realize that that is not necessarily psychologically a problem. Like Britney Spears, she was what, fucking 16? And like every cis straight white guy in America was looking at her boobs in those videos and had sexualized her. There's nothing wrong with them, right? Like we need a legal barrier there for the reasons that you've already enumerated, but there's no paraphilia there. There's no psychologically driven problem.
She physically resembles something that is okay to be attracted to. And
yes.
I also liked that I enumerated them. That makes me feel very fancy than as if you like said that I said them in a row. Like I enumerated the reason. So yeah, I'm pretty fancy. I remember one of my, when I was trying to be straight in like junior high and was friends with like straight dudes, like dudes. One of them was so excited for the Olsen twins to turn 18 because then people could make fake porn with them and put it on the internet. And I was just like,
great.
I don't like, that's just, I guess there's nothing wrong with them though. That just feels gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's really interesting. I didn't know that about like, so I can feel a little bit better about my crush on Zac Efron, like that started when he was in High School Musical.
I mean, I think so. Yeah. Because, problematic chronophilias like infantophilia are in a totally different category. That psychologically speaking, it is likely that a mature or very mature mid-teens person, that you're attracted to them for adult reasons and you don't act on those, but the initial attraction isn't a problem. Now there's stigma associated with it, but but the point is there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your brain.
Wow. Question.
Okay.
What are the odds that a portion of this could be taken out of context and used to say gay people love pedophiles? I mean, we're already sounding like we're defending pedophiles. It is already what it came across as. To be clear, you need to know the laws in your state or country, and you need to follow those laws, and it is not cool to rape a person that is under those ages.
Right.
We are trying to then delve into the nuances and just intricacies of the different types of feelings and or disorders that come along with that. And hopefully break some of the stereotypes there.
Yep. You're right that it's dangerous. Like this is a dangerous game to play to try to explain pedophiles. And I think that we need to talk about it because part of the equation here is that they can't help themselves. They legitimately, pedophilia, the nefarious kinds, infantophilia, hebephilia, arise at or about puberty and don't go away. Like people realize that they have these feelings and they didn't choose them and they don't go away. So, and it can't be cured. So they spend the rest of their lives trying to mitigate this shitty hand that nature dealt them. But society, and I think rightly so, has decided, no, that's not okay. So much of that mirrors the gay debate, right? There are lots of people who admit that gay people can't help themselves. They were born that way. And gay sex is bad for society for whatever reason, so no.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the big things that stands out to me is the similarities between some of the arguments about gay people and pedophiles.
Yep.
So this is actually a good segue. Wait, are you done, Skis, with your words and definitions?
Just because you moved your head like that.
Is that my, I got a thing to say?
Yep.
Doopa-doopa-doo.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about gayness and pedophilia.
Let's talk about gayness and pedophilia.
Gayness and pedophilia.
Gayness and pedophilia.
The old G and P.
Yep.
So most of what I'm going to tell you... So people have long connected being gay means you are going to indoctrinate children, you are going to... I'm trying to avoid have sex with children because it's rape children. That's rape.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
Why do people think that?
Oh my God, let me tell you. Okay, so this is all based on a blog post by Dr. Gregory M. Herrick, who is a gay psychologist.
That does not sound like a pedophile's name.
Gregory.
I believe
Herrick?
whatever you're going to say. Whatever you're going to say,
okay.
I'm going to believe it because he does not sound like a pedophile.
Are you rating every name based on how pedophilic it sounds?
Today I am, yes.
Okay, so he's like a 1 to 2 on the. He's not like for sure not. He's not like a Randall. Randall has never had sex with a child. He's a 0. Gregory M. Herrick, 1 to 2.
Okay.
Probably not.
What would be like a 5?
5. Mid-range Tony.
Okay.
Tony. Maybe a Jim.
Okay.
Jimmy's a little bit high. Jimmy's a 7 or 8. Jim, though, right around a 5.
And
what do you think?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. How
Yeah.
about, and like a 9 or a 10?
Like, you're definitely a pedophile?
Yeah.
Cooter. Cooter. I think anyone whose nickname is McNasty. Mm-hmm. And anyone named Kevin.
I think anybody whose name is just 2 letters.
Oh, like RJ's?
Yeah, RJ.
Yeah.
Or
OJ?
JK.
Who's Rowling? Are we the first to call
You heard it here, folks.
J.K. Rowling?
Harry Potter was written by a pedophile.
No wonder she wrote about those kids so much.
It makes sense.
Voldemort
right?
was chasing after him.
And all that sexual tension with Hermione and everyone who saw her boobs.
Are you struggling to think of anyone else that's in Hermione and Ron? She just wanted to see
The Weasleys. She wanted to bang all the Weasleys.
J.K. Rowling just has a fantasy about Hermione doing everyone. J.K. Rowling, you're gross, and we don't appreciate it.
We're kidding. We love you.
What happened?
You're amazing and it's wonderful.
Okay, what was I saying?
I did not think that we would talk about Harry Potter on this episode. That's for goddamn sure.
I mean, it's just natural. Pedophile, Harry Potter, hand in hand. Okay.
Barney the dinosaur.
Oh my God.
Fucking pedophile.
The only way those kids got on the show was by sitting on his tail.
And Elmo, the puppeteer, legit a pedophile, I think.
Legitophile?
A legitophile.
Wait, are you serious?
I gotta look that up now.
Okay.
I didn't before.
Okay, I'll tell you boring things you don't actually have to listen to while you're doing that.
Great.
So he had a giant Wikipedia page that I scanned through, but he was invited to participate in the President Clinton's 1997 White House Conference on Hate Crimes. He assisted the American Psychological Association in preparing more than 20 amicus briefs, including a brief that was referenced in the Obergefell ruling.
Neat.
So he's like, those were like the most legit. I saw President Clinton and Obergefell and picked those out, but he's done a lot of other shit that involves papers and good stuff.
When I came out of the closet, I went home, and at that time, my cousin had probably 4-year-old son, 5-year-old son. And they were showing me their laundry machine, and opened the laundry machine and pulled out some briefs, and they were little boy briefs. They were not amicus curiae briefs, but you said the word briefs, and I was like, anyway, my cousin, who is super red and an NRA person, was like giving me shit about touching little boy briefs. Like, I was into that now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The
word briefs is a trigger word for me, Kyle.
I'm so sorry. I'll call them paper filings from now on.
Court things.
Court paper submittal things.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I just looked it up, and now I can stop looking at this.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Elmo resigned because a person acknowledged that Sheldon. That's a he. Okay, yeah. So the guy that played Elmo. A dude said that Elmo was banging him, and that started when he was 16.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, so stories like that, or the priests, so those type of stories are things that people use against gay people because they call that, like that person, Sheldon, was it?
Yep.
They say, okay, well, they're gay. Gay people are pedophiles, and we can't...
Oh, no, Sheldon was the kid. But go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
They can't, we can't let them into things like Anita Bryant. Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
If there were one person, I know people don't like the C word, cunt. Anita Bryant is a cunt.
Yeah, she and Tommy Lauren are cunts. And it's okay to call them that because they are
the truth.
Yes.
She was in 1977. She was like a singer. I didn't know about like the fact that she was a singer before that. She had a whole other career.
Yeah.
But she was a giant proponent against gay rights. Started with a campaign to repeal the Dade County, which is basically Miami, ordinance that prohibited anti-gay discrimination. So she was like, oh, trying to be fair and equal and not discriminate? No. I don't want gay people. And she specifically talks about like, you don't, like a teacher could just have, a male teacher could, sexually assault a child or quote, the ordinance condones immorality and discriminates against my children's right to grow up in a healthy, decent community. Which it's what we see all the time today. Discriminating, like, let's be clear about what discriminating is. Like, everyone is like, oh, you're discriminating against my, like, just because you use the word does not mean that it's true. So, so she is actually like that kind of rhetoric doesn't seem surprising right now. That seems pretty common. We all know that and hear that. But at the time, she was, according to this article I read in The Atlantic, she was the first person to do that. And she basically started the organized right Christian movement against gay people and specifically gay people in these kinds of positions like being teachers. Her organization was called Save Our Children.
Of course. It's always for the children.
Save the children. So the truth, though, based on going back to most likely non-pedophile Dr. Gregory M. Herrick, he gave all of these reasons why that's not true. So first of all, the National Academy of Sciences said...
Wait, is this just going to be a bunch of fake news? Like, it goes against the narrative that they want, so... You're going to say a bunch of book learning and fancy science talk, and it's all fake news that we don't have to actually listen to?
Oh, no. This is the truth. This is the good stuff. This is what science actually says.
No, don't tell me what truth is, Kyle.
I want to believe what I want to believe.
I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Your dogmatic pushing of these quote-unquote facts is just a different kind of faith.
Yeah. Your
faith isn't better than my faith.
My peer-reviewed scientific process is really just a faith in a different kind of God than yours.
My peer-reviewed belief in Jesus trumps, capital T trumps, your fucking academic horse shit, you elitist libtard.
I know. I have to say numbers to you, which is a sure sign that you will shut down in this argument. Okay, no. So the report that I don't want to repeat said, quote, the distinction between homosexual and heterosexual child molesters relies on the premise that male molesters of male victims are homosexual in orientation. And that's the part that, like, even me, knowing that there's a huge difference between like pedophiles and gay people, still was like, but if you pedophile boys,
again with the verb,
I mean, it's the easiest, because
you don't want to say diddle or canoodle-a-doodle.
Like if you like, it's just like they have a ding dong. So, like,
I mean, it's not gay.
Well, but it is not gay. Because people, the distinction here is if you are a pedophile, if you are interested in prepubescent kids.
By the way, the word prepubescent always makes me just want to gag.
Yeah, like your wiener shoots right up into your insides.
Like, why are we saying that? Because whatever we're talking about is probably gross and or illegal.
Yeah, that's true. Ugh. But anyway, people that are into kids under 13 are not attracted to adults.
Yeah.
Or at least that's a portion of them. They're described as fixated. So there are two groups I'm going to talk about. This group is fixated. They are only attracted to children. Their attraction is based on age, not on gender. So that was like, oh, now that's helped me realize, no, they are not gay. They are pedophile. Because that's different in their mind. There's another group called regressive, which means you're mostly interested in adults, but your interest in children can come about in certain conditions, like if you're really stressed. So
wait,
what?
Like, I just got fired and now I want to bang a kid.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, technically you're yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean, they said like, I don't know, certain conditions. So like name a condition. All the examples said like stress. I don't know. It probably has to be like giant life, like, you know, pushing you to the edge of
Getting fired isn't not stressful.
I mean, it was for me because I got a severance. So I just chilled, but that's
And you got a condo
different.
and a dog.
That's true, as you all know, based on. Okay, moving it along. Okay, regressive.
You're going to have to reel me in.
This is like always, so keep doing what I always do. Okay. So some of the studies looked at those differences between fixated and regressive. People are just interested in kids based on their age, and people that are mostly interested in adults. But so, and this is all, it's so surprising when we have studies back in the 70s that it's like, this is not so. Groth and Birnbaum.
Okay. Pedophile, for sure.
Or like he's something. I don't know what it is yet. Okay, so their study.
Was it Jonathan Groff?
What?
You said Groff and Birnbaum?
Groth.
Groff.
TH, not FF.
Groff.
Groff.
Great.
So in 1978, studied.
I was born then.
Okay. Okay, studied 175 adult males convicted of sexual assault against a child. None of them were homosexual. 47% were fixated, meaning only interested based on age. Let's throw those out. Let's just look at the regressive, the people that do have relationships with adults as well. They were 40% were heterosexual, 13% were classified as bisexual, and they even like looked at the bisexuality, and they didn't primarily, none of them primarily liked men. Their interest was even at least even in the genders. None of them were exclusively homosexual. So that was the one that was most interesting. And then he goes on to say a bunch more studies that are all confirming that. And something that really stood out to me in his blog post was, quote, proving something that is already widely known simply isn't a priority for scientists. Which, that makes sense to me. We don't need to keep doing studies to disprove this because it's not a question of the science. The science is in. Their job is done.
Nobody's publishing a paper that's like 2 + 2 is still 4. Everybody.
Yep. Hey, everyone. Confirmed. Yeah. So they're basically the science says that Anita Bryant and everyone else that she inspired to take up this fuckery.
The head cunt and all of her
cuntets. Her army of cunts. They're wrong. They use incorrect science that has been debunked to justify their homophobia. And so she deserved that pie that got thrown in her face.
Yeah.
Did you know about that? That she got
I did
hit
see
in the
that,
face.
yeah.
She was. I think it said it the first person that got a pie in their face as a political protest. There's probably a bi person that threw it in her face too.
I hope they jizzed in it first.
I sure hope so. I hope they cunt splashed in it because like she would hate that because she's a lady and
somebody's mashed their labia into that pie.
Oh my God. And then a lesbian definitely ate her out. So it was like win-win.
Yep.
Okay. You say things now.
Well, so part of the reason that there's this confusion, I think, is the weird relationship between the gay rights movement and NAMBLA.
Oh.
The North American Man-Boy Love Association.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. In college, we used to like flip each other's shit, like say that you must be a member of NAMBLA, and it got thrown around as an insult. But yeah, so it is a organization that mostly doesn't exist anymore, but that advocates for pedophile and pederasty as something that should be okay.
Wait, what's pederasty?
Well, Pederasty is also banging somebody who is younger and is largely it's a homosexual relationship between an adult male and a pubescent or adolescent male. And pederasty was actually, when we talk about the Greeks doing their weird gay shit, it's pederasty, it's not pedophilia, because age of consent wasn't a thing. It's only boys that are post-puberty, so that they have, a lot of adult characteristics. And it is this relationship between an older male who is sort of a mentor and teacher and father figure, but they also bang. But NAMBLA was pro-pedophilia, pro-pederasty. And,
not just the feelings, but, the act, the doing it.
Yep. They actively worked to abolish age of consent laws, criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors, and they would campaign for the release of men who had been jailed for sexual contacts with minors if the minor was on record as saying that they weren't coerced, but rather that they were into it.
Which
is problematic, right?
Yeah, you can convince, that's the entire point of they can't consent, is you can convince people that don't understand what's going on.
Yep. So at some point, NAMBLA got involved in a very big way with LGBT organizations. They got involved with pride marches. They got involved with GLAAD. They got involved with just a whole bunch of gay rights organizations. And their argument was we should be considered as part of the umbrella there because it's man-boy love. It's gay. It is homosexual in nature. Therefore, we should be on the same train headed for rights as everybody else.
And what time frame were they
the late 70s until the mid 90s was when they were in their prime, and then they died a really slow death. They still there are still weird little local chapters around the country, and they don't not exist. They're just not the actual unified national organization that they were during their heyday. So there was this sort of fight amongst gay people about whether we should consider pedophiles and pederasts as being under our umbrella or not, fighting for the same rights. By the mid 80s, we started taking a step back from that because the gay community was trying to focus on the mainstream and focus on appeal to a national audience, and that was a non-starter with most people. Did
they seriously consider? That's surprising to me. Did they actually sit down and think about it and decide and debate and stuff?
Yes, they did. Where is it? So, yes, NAMBLA was one of the organizations that would show up for gay pride marches and would show up for gay organized events. So in 1980, a group called the Lesbian Caucus distributed a flyer that said, hey, we should not go to the New York City Gay Pride March because NAMBLA is so involved in it.
Lesbians getting shit done, taking action. We just need them. Gay men are just ooh, look at that dick. We gotta get those lesbians. They're the ones that get shit done.
And that more or less worked. A bunch of lesbians threatened to picket. The Cornell University group Gay People at Cornell uninvited NAMBLA to be a keynote speaker at their gay festival. That sort of steamrolled, and more gay rights groups said, NAMBLA, no, you can't walk with us. You can't be part of our thing. And I got drunk.
Did you have more to say, or?
No, it's just that NAMBLA existed and was a thing, and I think a lot of people know it. And I also, this is so inappropriate, but there was also the René Guyon Society. I'll just read this. It was possibly mythical American group that is said to have advocated sexual relationships with children. It was named after René Guyon, a former judge who served on the Supreme Court of Thailand for 30 years, and who, apart from traditional judicial work, wrote on sexual ethics. The entity's motto is said to have been sex before 8 or else it's too late.
Oh, boy. They don't mean PM.
No. It was based in Beverly Hills, California, and they they were an organization that, quote, challenges the assertion that sexual abuse is bad because of its effects on children. All of that is to say that there have been and probably continue to be organized memberships of people grouping together who think pedophilia, pederasty, that these are good and healthy and positive and should not be stigmatized and should be legal, and want to actively work for a legal framework in which that vision is realized. And it's just fascinating to me that, first of all, how do they find each other? It's just like, hey, Kyle, I'm a pedophile. Are you a pedophile?
Yeah, like,
you should come to my house.
Oh,
we're gonna sit down and we're gonna jerk off to some kiddie porn first, but then after that we're gonna get organized.
Yeah, and then we're gonna plan demonstrations and rallies. Well, that's interesting, Mike, because have you seen the recent things on Twitter or Reddit, other places that say that LGBT is adding P for pedophiles?
Fucking bullshit. Oh my God.
What's your initial take on that?
I have to pee.
Yeah, it's a strong. LGBT is adding P in there, but it's for water sports.
Yep. At what point does it just sound like we're playing Wheel of Fortune? Let's add a P in there. I want a P. Can I get a P? But like, this is the bullshit that's destroying America. Like, people who will believe that and pass it on without verifying it, and because it fits what they want to believe. And
that is very astute.
Thank you.
You are astute. I've always said you're very astuteful.
Someone that understands titties.
Astute? You think
STUT? Someone that understands titties.
Oh, acronym.
Mm-hmm.
You understand them. You may not like them, but you understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're right. So there was, like, recently, I've seen this on my Twitter feed as well. It's this thing that has LGBTP, and each of those defined as well as the P saying pedophile. So people shared that, like, look what the gays are doing. They're including pedophiles. This is why we need to, I don't know, kill them or stone us or whatever they want to do. And then gay people were very quick to be like, oh no, I don't want P in our LGBT.
I don't want P in my alphabet soup.
It's either a social protest or a explanation of how you want your sandwich prepared. There was a new flag that started showing up that included pedophiles. So what it turned out, the source of this, according to Snopes, is the fuckers that are fucking up everything is 4chan.
Great.
4chan is a source of horrible people that just get together and be horrible. Like, they do fucked up shits.
Well, and they're also brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're super smart and really good at what they do, and they are using their powers for evil.
Yes. If you got really intelligent people all together on a message board that just wanted to do fuck up things for fun, like, that's what 4chan is. So around 2006 is actually there's a post that I'll read it to you because it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, you fucking morons. You're letting the LGBTQ, quote, community outsmart you. If they want to demand that society accept their horseshit identities, then it's time we slip in one of our own for godly keks. Kek is the way they say LOL. Mm-hmm. How do we do this? We convince them that pedos deserve rights too. Think about it. If this were to catch any traction at all, it would only further remove any legitimization they've gained. And then, so this is
Great.
Talking about starting to organize around promoting, specifically with the idea to harm the LGBT community and the view of it on 4chan. Like you're saying, like, it's really smart, actually. If you want to delegitimize LGBT people, saying that they include P in that thing, and like, so in one of the responses, remember, we want to convince people that this is a legitimate argument. Society is fairly stupid, so it won't be hard. We can effectively eliminate discourse of all faggotry if we pull this off.
Great.
Which, like, so, like, of course, Russian influence over our election is one example of, like how internet trolls and fake personas can influence and sway opinion, especially if you organize them. But this happens even within, I mean, I'm assuming within the US too, like who knows where, 4chan can be anywhere, but so they organized a bunch of people, used fake accounts. I mean, they're real accounts, but with the fake people, started posting this. All you have to do is post to get a reaction from a conservative for it to get traction, or a reaction from a gay person to it yields such strong reactions that anyone who then responds to it, even if you're saying, no, I would never, I don't support this, that's actually doing harm by promoting that idea.
Yep.
So by arguing against it, you're actually helping them do what they want you to do, which is
why Barack Obama initially said, no, I'm not giving you my fucking birth certificate. Fuck off.
Oh, well, that's also why we're not sure he's not a lizard person.
Yeah. We also don't know that he's not a pedophile.
That's true. Prove it, Barack Obama. Show us pictures of every second of your life so we know. They did the same thing again in 2017. So this is like a similar post on 4chan trying to say that LGBT was including P. So I read one of my new favorite words is this is a manufactureversy. A manufactured controversy. This is not an actual controversy. No one is actually arguing for this. And conservatives and queer people are on the same side, at least insofar as it's like, no, we're not, you shouldn't include that. They also started something, 4chan also started a manufactureversy that I saw on my Twitter feed is hashtag drop the B, which was this campaign that said we should drop bisexuals from LGBT because bisexual only means two genders, and that denies that there are, that says there are only two genders. So they started that's not actually what bisexuality means or has ever really meant. But again, that's a really smart way to stir up shit between our community.
Bisexual, bi means two. That means two genders. There's not just two genders. There's a shit ton of genders. Get rid of that B.
Yep.
Drop the B.
Yeah.
Drop that B.
Drop that B. Usually, it's drop that beat. Drop that beat. Drop that beat. Drop that beat.
Pedophiles.
Oh God, that's the pedophile dance. So what?
Nothing.
I think I'm gonna pour this.
That little musical breakdown just really tickled me.
Why
Tickle me, Elmo.
but not there. Keep it above the waist. Hot take on pedophiles. I actually think they are not responsible for their pedophilia. That's what the studies say. So how can we punish people for how they were born? In fact, we should be praising people that come forward and say, I have these desires and I don't want to do this. And then work to figure out what are things that we can do to resolve or to help mitigate it. Some things that people have done are like antidepressants or things that reduce your sex drive, lower their testosterone. I think the way we talk about pedophilia needs to change towards accepting that. I think the one thing that they truly do have that's similar to gay people is they were born with a sexual desire that society looks down on. The big difference, though, is with gay people, it's a consensual relationship with adults, and it's just your idiocracy that's idioting your idiocy, and you just need to get over yourself, versus pedophiles have an attraction to people that cannot consent. Just like
bestiality,
necrophilia, fucking a mute person. Like all of these, they can't give consent.
They can give a thumbs up.
But then does that mean like thumbs up, or does that mean like you're doing a great job? Or does that mean put a thumb up your ass? Who knows? There's no other way to communicate.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Good job.
Thanks. I don't know. Does any of that agree, disagree? I feel like that is not would not be the popular opinion.
I think that we should just learn how to make baby-shaped robots that they can make.
That's okay. That's actually not a terrible idea.
Thank you.
Because like they can make, oh, gross. Okay.
Just like toddler-sized sex dolls.
They make like really realistic baby dolls that are like these hyper realistic like.
Just make one that sucks dick.
Oh God. I'm so confused right now that I might think. Yeah, like I was trying to like, what are other outlets for? Yeah, like you can get a hologram of anything nowadays, right? Like you can get a hologram to perform at the Grammys. You can. That's the only. I don't think that's even real. They performed at some kind of show.
It was the Super Bowl.
No, there was
when Prince was at the Super Bowl.
Oh, that was weird.
Despite being super dead.
Despite being dead.
It was musical necrophilia.
He fucked us with his songs from beyond the grave into our ears. Mm-hmm. He ear blasted us. Mm-hmm. Or like I think
non-consensually, I might add.
I did not sign up for this. No one asked me to sign a waiver. There's another one at a concert where they had like T.I. or something like performing via virtual.
Texas Instruments?
Yeah. The CEO of Texas Instruments showed up and just went crazy with featuring Cardi B.
Great.
Okay, no, but sexual children robots aside.
Or
okay,
we need to create a dating website where people who are pedophiles can meet people that are like Webster.
Oh,
Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
Or
like
maybe little people might work for some pedophiles.
Yeah. Or you could like.
How much of this do you have to cut? Because Jesus Christ.
Like, it's going to be very similar to Judith Herman's quote. It's like the 5% that got caught into that makes the podcast. We're notably not talking about the Catholic Church.
Yeah. I mean, I think an argument can be made that abuse of children by priests is morphologically different than pedophilia.
Morphologically? Is this that book series where they convert into animals?
Yes.
And then there are andalites that...
It's anamorphologically different.
No, what's morphologically different mean?
I don't know.
You can't use a word if you can't define it.
Watch me.
I mean, there's plenty of words I don't know what they mean, but that's because I made them up.
Morphologically, yeah, relating to the form or structure of things. It's morphologically different. It's structurally, priest abuse is... there's a power differential there. There's a religious component there. It's
different. You could have just said it's different.
But then I would not have sounded as smart.
That is confirmed.
As when I said morphologically, and then you jumped in my shit.
Very true. Well, I had to make my Animorphs joke, so...
Yeah. Well done, by the way. That was good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is this podcast nothing if not a means for me to get out Animorph jokes? Animorphs. There's still books you can probably buy. Brought to you by books. This has been an integrated ad sponsor.
And not...
Wait, I got caught up in my own Animorphs conversation. What did... They're a very different thing. The priest abuse. Well, that's one of the things...
We should talk about it. Maybe do a shrinkage, or maybe we'll do a whole episode about it. But especially because it's very much in the news now. But it when you research it beyond just like the surface level, it is different and doesn't belong in this conversation.
And is that potentially because it is not pedophilia? Just because you are abusing children does not make you a pedophile. It could mean other things.
It can mean lots of things. There's a whole host of reasons that have been studied as to why it's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
The number one thing that causes it actually is people who have watched Murder, She Wrote. Priests who have watched Murder, She Wrote end up diddling altar boys or canoodle-doodling altar boys.
I thought you were joking at first, but you kept talking as if it might be serious.
That's what I do. None of that is...
No.
None of that
okay, you kept going, and then even I doubted
Angela Lansbury causes pedophile priests.
Yeah, all right. Well, again, you heard it first. Hard hitting, just like I said.
She and J.K. Rowling work together.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. It's a pedo promotion ring. Do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kyle.
Did we do pedophiles well?
Well, I was going to ask you.
Okay. Oh, no.
Do you think that you were more or less hot than the average 6-year-old when you were 6?
Oh, my God. I was the epitome of a pedophile's wet dream. I was blonde. I had low self-confidence. I mean, okay, my downside was that I was from a household that was like generally happy and my parents were together and they paid attention to me. So that's not, but like Aryan, like I'm a Nazi's dream and a pedophile's dream, or at least I was. What about you?
I was tow-headed and beautiful.
What happened?
I don't know. Time is a cruel, cruel mistress.
Man, if you're a pedophile,
That should be a pedophile's bumper sticker.
racing against the clock, you got to get in and get out. Okay, are we back?
We're back.
Do you want to do a gayest and straightest?
We're going to do our gayest and straightest, but first,
our
website is gayishpodcast.com.
Our social media, everything is Gayish Podcast, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Is that everything we're on?
Probably. We get text messages and voicemails on our hotline, which is 585-5-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
And email us at gayishpodcast@gmail.com. And then don't forget to check us out next Saturday at 2 p.m. Central for our live show, which will be live in person at New Orleans or streaming live at pride48.com. It'll also come out on the normal feed as per normal.
On Thursday. Next Thursday.
Or whenever.
Thursday after this Thursday.
Or we'll just whenever
Time is
next
weird.
week.
Great.
I haven't consistently established a posting schedule.
Let's do it. You do it. It's been on Thursdays most days.
Thanks. Yeah,
Most
I try.
weeks.
Sometimes Friday. Sometimes when we're professionals at this, in like 200 more episodes, maybe we'll have a consistent posting schedule like every other podcast that has ever existed.
Sure.
But it's not yet. Okay, gayest and straightest.
Store gayest and straightest.
I don't feel like I've gotten first in a while, so I'm going to do that.
Well, fine.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kyle.
What happened to both of our levels of sobriety? They went better. They got better.
Mine was missing when you got here. And
had you been drinking before I got here?
I plead the fifth. A fifth of whiskey. And your sobriety you shat out during the break.
You think I shat out my soberness?
Yes, it's the past tense of shit.
Well, I know that. Okay. I actually had a can of rainbow-colored rosé before I got here. No, before I got here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Okay, my straightest thing. I was working out with our favorite fag sag, Doug.
He has a name.
Oh, no.
Doug Antkovia.
I did poop out my sobriety. And we were using like medicine balls to do worky outy things.
The least hot kind of balls.
Depends on who's working out with them. And I kicked one across the room with reckless abandon. Like I didn't care what it would run into or damage because I just wanted to kick a ball. And I just, in all reality, I probably like it rolled over to the other side and tapped the weights that were like, it wasn't. But for me, it was like, it felt very straight that I was just like, I'm going to kick something and whatever. My gayest thing, okay, what I realized, well, I've realized this for a while, but I prefer women, wait for it.
Okay.
Like in friends, in clients, in coworkers, like there's something that is easier for me with women, interacting with women. With men, I get worried because either you're straight and I don't know how you as a man are going to react to me, or you know, you're gay and then what, I don't know, you're going to judge me or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Like, and that's my own, you know, I know that that's sexist of me. that.
Are you at ease around me because you know I'm going to judge you?
It's not even a question. No, I just like I've always preferred people's, like my friends' moms, because they like I don't know, I got along with them. I feel like all the studies, I've said this before, all the studies that say like women do this thing and men do that thing, I always identify with the women's side of it. And I think, yeah, there's just something about women that it's easier for me to like make friends with and talk, and like let's be honest, ladies love me. So
let's be honest.
Even straight ladies love me. What about you?
What about me? The gayest thing about me this week, last week, I went and met with Joseph Peters Matthews, the priest, the gay married priest.
Yep.
And we went to the Eagle, which really, just going to the Eagle is probably the gayest part of most people's week if they've ever been there.
Yeah.
But we were just talking upstairs, and then I said that I needed to go use the restroom. And I don't know the Eagle that well. I don't go there that often. I walked down this little like hallway kind of a thing, expecting like it looked like the kind of place that might maybe have bathrooms down it. Turned the corner and there was a blowjob happening just right there. Yeah.
Any place called the Eagle might have a blowjob happening down an alley.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you went down this dark alley, turned right, and you were in a rectum.
It was the upper colon.
Okay, yeah.
No, but
Stop, you've gone too far. Please turn around.
But I think the gayest thing about that is just, I was like, oh, there's a blowjob happening there.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
fine.
no,
I just turned around and kept going.
Yeah, you gotta pee.
I think most people
might have a reaction to someone giving a blowjob in a bar.
Yelling or cop calling or like finding a manager or something. Like, no, I'm just like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
great.
yep.
Moving on. The straightest thing about me this week, I went home for a funeral this weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So Martin and Matthew, my brothers that have been on the podcast before, they were this guy's age. I was older enough that I knew him, but we weren't close. But I went to support them. And the guy who died, and One Ball Dan was there too.
No.
He was really very close with this kid as well because they lived together in college. Anyway, the four of us, so my two brothers and One Ball Dan and I, were in my dad's garage drinking beer and playing cards until like 4:00 in the morning after the funeral. And it was just so broy, so fratty. So
it depends. What card game were you playing?
Pinochle.
I don't know.
You think Pinocchle's not gay? I don't think it's gay.
It's least by curious.
Maybe.
I was gonna say Hearts is probably the gayest. Like straightest is like
poker.
one of the lesser known pokers. Like you're not just doing regular poker. You're like 4-card, hold them, flip them out, or I don't know, whatever. That sounded pretty gay when I was trying to come up with a straight example. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. This has been Gayish. A special thank you, as always, to Charlie Finn for the use of our theme music.
And thank you to the people that research pedophiles. Like, honestly, it must be hard to talk seriously in a scientific sense with your research about pedophiles. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you to Anita Bryant for making it okay to say the word cunt.
If you weren't so cunty, man, it'd be so hard to use that word. And I just haven't said thank you to Rose in a while, and I just am thanking them orally.
I mean, you usually thank orally. I know you. I see you.
Yeah, I was the one giving the blowjob in that dark alley. You didn't know it, but I was at the Eagle.
So this is it. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
See you next week.
See you next week for a live show.
Hear us in New Orleans.
Hear us.
Lend me your ears. Friends, countrymen, pedophiles.
Fuck me your ears.
Yes, I will sing. Hey, and by the way, do you hear what your words bring? Oh, P.S. I'm gay-ish.
Is there like a national pedophilia hotline that you can...
If you or someone you know is a pedophile, don't. Just don't. No, just...
If you're anybody that you love is a pedophile, call the National Suicide Hotline and ask them how.